It's time for my city of Chicago, Illinois to put respect on Isiah Lord Thomas's name. What do I mean by that? So this morning, I shared a clip from Instagram of a guy giving Isiah Thomas all of his flowers, right? Praising Isiah as an elite passer, elite scorer, one of the best guards to ever play this game. And all of that is true. But it seems to me that in my city of Chicago, Illinois, whenever Isiah Thomas's name is mentioned, the first thing the elder statesmen of of Chicago do, the first thing they do is call him a hater. He a hater. I don't like Isiah. He a hater. He a hater. He didn't want to shake Jordan and them hand after the Bulls won. He's a hater. He's a sore loser. I don't like him. He's something else. I don't like him. I don't like him, and I can't stand Isiah for what he did. That's what a lot of the elder statesmen in Chicago, Illinois do. And I'm telling y'all right now, get over it. Knock it off. As far as Chicago basketball is concerned, here in the city of Chicago, Isiah Thomas is Chicago basketball. He lives, breathes, embodies Chicago basketball with the way he played, with his intensity, his mentality, everything. Chicago basketball, tough, rough, rugged. You hear me? Elite, though. And he was all of that with a handle. You couldn't take the ball from Zeke. You could not. My father told me, Isiah, you couldn't take the ball from Isiah, right? Court vision, court awareness, defense. The man averaged over his career nearly 2 steals a game over his entire career, right? Again, 6'1". Some say Zeke probably was like 6 feet even, maybe even 5'11" and a half or something like that, right? But we say 6'1", right? The only small guard to lead his team to a chip for real. Like, now Steph Curry will be, 6'3" or whatever. But Steph is a combo guard. The only point guard, small point guard to lead his team to a championship, back-to-back championships, in a place that was not a big market, a humongous market. Now, Detroit wasn't small, but it wasn't New York, LA, or even our city of Chicago, right? But Isiah Thomas, man, he put on for Detroit. But at the same time, he come from here. He learned how to play ball here. He spent his childhood, his teenage years in Chicago. This is where he from. Shout out to the west side of Chicago. I'm from the south side, but he from the west side. And I always get tired of people in Chicago always trying to downplay him because of their love for Michael Jordan, that they love Michael Jordan. You can love both. Is what I'm trying to tell y'all. You can love both. I understand that Mike put the Bulls on the map as a franchise for real and made us a respectable franchise, and he made us the center point of NBA basketball for over a decade he did, right? And that's respected, it's all of that. You got to give respect and you got to revere that. But at the same time, I watch people in Chicago scoff their nose up at Isiah. You know what I mean? He come here, you got people throwing shots at him when he comes back to home. How? He set the precedent for what a championship guard supposed to be here. For real. Yeah, we had guards before him, Mo Cheeks. We had a lot of other guards that came through here. But Isiah, the one that came and was the dude. He was the leading scorer on his team and the leading assist man on his squad while leading his team to championships. Think about that. He was the leading assist man and the leading scorer on the team while leading his teams to championships. He beat Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan in their prime. Now, I know y'all going to say Mike wasn't in his prime yet, but Mike was elite. They was already calling him that one already. And Isiah beat them all. He beat them all, man. And he got a winning record against Michael Jordan. And that counts for something, but a lot of y'all, and I know, again, we in Chicago, so of course, like, what Mike did, bringing us 6 championships, 2 3-peats, that's outstanding, that's phenomenal. That can never be glossed over, that can never be erased. You can never poo-poo that or nothing. But my thing is, you can love Michael Jordan and give Isiah his respect when he come home. He shouldn't have to be when he come home, people looking at him bitter. People looking at him all, you know what I mean? people trying to, you got people, again, I didn't been around the elder statesmen, and they talk about Zeke like he was god dang on Benedict Arnold or something. Like he was, I don't know, the way he talk about him. I'm like, man, Zeke wanted to play in Chicago. He wanted to live Derrick Rose's dream. So much so he tried to get the Pistons not to draft him. But they did. And when he got there, he balled out. And I always shout out Detroit, because Detroit always give him his respect, his love, and his flowers. Now, I'm not saying it's a lot of people, a lot of us in Chicago respect and honor Zeke and give a lot of praise to Zeke, but it's still that elder statesman, that older generation that still had them bitter feelings about him. Oh, he didn't shake Michael Jordan in hand. We'll talk about Michael Jordan leaving him off, getting him, basically influencing him not being picked on the dream team. And you got John Stockton on the squad. Now, John Stockton is an all-time great guard, historically great guard. He got the steals record, got all-time steals and all-time assists. Played for a long time. So I'm not trying to poo-poo him when I say this. John Stockton was not Isiah Thomas, and it wasn't close, right? Even though he got the records, he played for a longer time than Zeke. Zeke retired at the end of the 1994 season, came in 1981, right? But when you look at their games, and you look at them games, it's not close. Isiah Thomas by Mississippi Mile. And this is not to say John Stockton not great, because he is great. He's great. But Zeke was something else. The second greatest point guard to ever play the game other than Magic Johnson. Yes, and I say Zeke, second greatest point guard other than Michael Jordan. Other than Magic Johnson, Zeke number 2. And some might say Steph Curry, but Steph is a combo guard. He's not a traditional point guard. Zeke bring the ball up the court. You got to be Draymond to be bringing the ball up the court and stuff. A lot of times with Steph. Steph be off ball a lot sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. When I think about Isiah and how much he comes to the city, show love to the youth in the city, the young basketball players, give a lot of sound advice to players all throughout the league, influence David Stern not to kick Steven Jackson out the league. And you had Steven Jackson sitting up there laughing with Charles Oakley when Charles Oakley was clowning Isiah. Clowning him. Talking about Michael Jordan don't want to be your friend, Isiah, nobody want to be your, all of that. And Steven Jackson laughing, key, and all of that. And Isiah Thomas had to come on All the Smoke and tell him, you were done, Stack. Stack, you were done. You were done. I went to David Stern and tell him, you can't do that to him. You can't do that to him. You can't do that to him. He like, yeah, man, gave me your number. Al Harrington gave me your number. Al saved me. Isiah said, no, Isiah saved you. Isiah saved you. And he had to tell him that because he's sitting there, you over there laughing with Charles Oakley while he clowning me and belittling me. And I helped to keep you in this league. And Steven Jackson deserved to be in the league for sure. He was a great scorer, right? And solid defender. But yeah, like Zeke telling Kevin Garnett, hey, you can play in the NBA, man. You could play in the NBA. You know what I mean? Evaluating Tracy McGrady, all of them. Like, man, Zeke helped out a lot of young dudes. A lot of young guys, man. Coming to the city, speaking to the youth. When my best friend, Kiefer Sykes, got to the NBA and achieved his dream of playing in the NBA, he was playing for the Indiana Pacers for half a season. He got called up from the Indiana Mad Ants G League team to the Pacers. And Kiefer played a great game against the Golden State Warriors, solid game against the Golden State Warriors, and the Pacers won in overtime. With my boy Kiefer as a starting guard for the Indiana Pacers. It was Isiah Zeke Thomas that sat on TV and said, I got to give a shout out to Chicago's own Kiefer Sykes from Marshall High School. Kiefer Sykes, he shouted my friend out, my boy Kiefer wore number 11 in high school and elementary school because of Isiah Thomas, because his father was showing him tapes of Isiah. His father, rest in peace to the legend, Mr. James Sykes. Mr. James Sykes, my boy Kiefer's father, was showing him Isiah Thomas. Said, it's the guard you need to emulate right here. Isiah, Chicago. He from Chicago like us. He from the west side. We from the south side. But it's still Chicago. And I look at the accolades, man. This man he put up 25 points in a quarter in the finals against the Showtime Lakers on a sprained ankle. 12-time NBA All-Star, Like I said, two-time NBA champion, 89, 1990, back-to-back champion. He took them to three finals, won two. Okay? Two-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, NBA Finals MVP in 1990, because Joe Dumars was the Finals MVP in 89. NCAA champion at 1981 with the Indiana Hoosiers and Bob Knight, crazy Bobby Knight. Over his career, he averaged 19 points a game, 9.3 assists per game, and 1.9 steals per game. You round that 1.9 up to 2 steals per game, right? Let me tell y'all some of the seasons Isiah Thomas had. Rookie season, 17 points, 7.8 assists per game, 2.1 steals a game. Second season in the league, 22.9, 23 points a game, 7 assists per game, 2.5 steals per game. Third season, 21 points per game, 11 assists per game, 2.5 steals per game. Fourth season, 21 points per game, 13.9, 14 assists per game, and 2.3 steals per game. Season after that, 20.9 points per game, 20.9 points per game, 11 assists per game, 2.2 steals per game. Isiah is elite, fam. Like, and again, I know this is a city where Michael Jordan made his name for real and cemented his legacy, and he made us a respected franchise. But regardless of that, no Isiah Thomas slander should be allowed in Chicago. He from here. He from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? He show his face in the community. He come around the young kids. He does. You feel me? Like, Zeke is the standard for real. For Chicago guard play, he the standard, followed by Derrick Rose. Followed by he the best player to ever come out of Chicago. Now, if Derrick would have stayed healthy, who knows, Derrick probably could have passed him. But unfortunately, Derrick didn't stay healthy. So if the fact remains, Isiah Thomas the best player to come out of here. Man. And again, Detroit, y'all loved and embraced him. He from Chicago, though. And he should never be getting disrespected. Oh, he's a hater and all that. Cut it out. He's a legend. Basketball dog.